Hey, everybody, it's Bill Froelich here with my partner, Amy Schmitz, for the recording and podcast of MedAItion. That's MedAItion with the A and the I switched. I'm going to kick it over to Amy to get this one started.
Yeah, so our guest today is Gary Doernhoefer. He's a real entrepreneur. He's also been in the space of technology and mediation for quite some time. He has launched ADR Notable. I also was co-chairs with him of the technology committee for the American Bar Association Dispute Resolution section. So he's been such a dear friend and such a leader in this area when it comes to technology and mediation. So he's a perfect person to have on our podcast and to discuss all things AI and mediation. So, first of all, Gary, thanks for taking some time with us and being part of this column.
Yeah, it's great to join you again. Formerly kind of a neighbor, but having now moved, although ADR Notable is still in Columbus, Ohio, I'm now in Colorado. So it's good to see you guys again.
No, this is great. So, you've been advancing mediation and technology for more than a decade now, and you've been really involved in this and involved in vibe coding and AI, and we've talked about so many really cool things. So, what have you been working on lately, and what do you think is the next horizon for AI and mediation?
It's been interesting. I mean, it's a lot of fun, right? AI is an exciting tool. It's fun to play with, and it's fun to get it to do things like, playing with the Comet browser, which actually can go into another website on your behalf and crawl through the website and do things for you. So if you've never seen that happen, you could do something silly like say, give me a recipe for chicken salad and then go put all the ingredients in my shopping cart at Kroger. And it'll go off and actually execute all of that for you, all just as a web browser. So, it's fun to play with that kind of stuff using AI to do first drafts. I never write anything myself first draft anymore, right? You tell the bot whichever one you choose. Currently, I'm playing with Perplexity for the most part. You tell it what you want, you get it to generate a draft, you read it, you probably tell it to make a few more changes, and then you take that version off and you finish it, you editing it yourself. So what it can do still is kind of unlimited. I have done some vibe coding. You mentioned that a minute ago, using Claude to write a little quick software program that tracks just a two-person financial negotiation and gives you a visualization of the back and forth between the parties. But watching it as a more serious tool, I have mixed emotions. I think given time and done carefully, AI implementation is going to be incredibly powerful. But I really fear at the moment that a lot of people are chasing a shiny object, and they're going to get themselves into a little bit of trouble creating either vibe coding things without a good, really paying attention to security, data security, or the accuracy and of some of the things that AI can do, like even summarization and coding. It's an interesting exercise. If you haven't tried it, ask AI itself how accurate it is when it summarizes a 100-page PDF. So, so it's interesting. Lots going on. My current view is exciting, but caution ahead. Right.
Right, right. Well, and why in particular with mediation? So, what interested you in the first place to think through why mediation in particular when it comes to AI and sort of embedding these different tools into your own platform?
Yeah. So, no, first of all, it's just a commitment to the concept that mediation is a better solution in the vast majority of cases to resolve a conflict. A perspective that comes from years being an in-house or general counsel and worrying about cost and outcome and predictability for my client. So there's the commitment on the one side, and then I'm a geek by in heart. I'm a gadget kind of guy. So this new product comes along, and you want to see how the two of those things can come together. And it's sort of uniquely challenging because mediation is such a human centered practice or profession. And then you have this technology thing that sort of says, yeah, but I can help too. So, I mean, really, the way I started was just taking the technology, including AI, and saying, how can it help with all of those things that are not directly related to mediation, but it's the business process, the administrative tasks. That's a safe ground for this kind of technology, and enormously helpful. And then you kind of keep nudging the technology more into the actual intersection and the human skills. And you see products like Professor John Landy's RPS coach, and you just shake your head and marvel. If you haven't played with it, I encourage that. It is designed initially as a coach for the individual practitioner. And it's like having John Landy on the bar stool with a beer in front of the two of you. And you can ask it questions about, I have this problem with an obstreperous lawyer. I can't get him to shut up. How do I handle that in the middle of the mediation? And it gives you great output because it's designed on a dedicated database of materials. It's not going out to the general, ChatGPT libraries. It's a more precise library of information that's used to respond. So it's more accurate, less, more relevant usually, and certainly less hallucination. And it gives you great feedback. A lot of times I'd say, 8 out of 10 things you'll probably have already thought of. One of them is probably not applicable, and one more will make you think. And it'll be genuinely helpful and inspire you to have a different perspective on a question you've asked it. So then the next step in this coaching world, wow, what else can AI do to help coach, to improve the process? And I've spent, kind of all last year, whenever I was asked to do public presentations, almost always, my topic was using an AI bot to prepare parties in advance of a session. And it's based on some research that was done years ago by Professor Roselle Whistler that found that preparation, and that in her case delivered by counsel, improved the likelihood of settlement. It correlated with a higher settlement rate, and it correlated with better reported satisfaction by the parties with the process. And it does, and it's sort of intuitive, right? The more they know about the process, the more they understand about what's going on. The more they've thought about it in advance and prepared what they're going to say, how they're going to say it. And the bot can put them in, a mindset of compromise, just the way that a good practitioner would prior to the mediation session. So, one of the things that we're looking forward to doing is seeing if that tool can actually be used by particularly high volume, low resource institutions like court programs or dispute resolution centers to help them get the parties better prepared and more successful.
Yeah, Gary, so often I see when at small claims or municipal style courts, high volume courts or community mediation centers, they have mediation prep tools like a 1-pager, a 2-pager, maybe a checklist, maybe a short video. You're taking these ideas, and what you're talking about with respect to coaching is having the AI advance how the parties prepare using tools that already exist, perhaps, like John Landy's RPS coach, like some of these checklists that might be made by the local mediation center, and helping the parties use those to prepare in advance and having the AI work with the parties to prep in advance. Is that right?
That's exactly right. I mean, just imagine how much more powerful it can be when you go from something that's static and you're trying to guess what the questions are that some party may have to something that's fully interactive. And they can ask any question from, do I need a lawyer? How do I dress? I mean, how do I address the mediator? I mean, these people don't know, right? They've never been in this context before. It's a completely new experience. And they can have those kind of, that opportunity to ask the dumb questions in the privacy of a one-on-one with a bot and get an answer that makes them feel more comfortable with the process, and then go deeper and get them really prepared to present their own side of the dispute and the conflict. So yeah, it's taken those materials and just putting them in a fully interactive environment with a bot. We've even engaged RSI when we get moving on this project with the court that we're working with. We're going to bring RSI in to help us. They've done such great work in making things very comprehensible to a unrepresented party, and also to help us create a program that's got good findings, academically rigorous study where we do some A/B testing and actually see if we can replicate Roselle Whistler's results in an environment that the preparation is delivered by a bot.
Earlier you said caution ahead. So when you say caution ahead, what keeps you up at night? What cautions are you worried about?
Yeah, so I mean, it's the hype, right? The hype is way ahead of the reality, I think, right now, where people think they can cobble together, some sort of platform and meet all their objectives. I think, we keep getting warnings despite, the now infamous Peter Loduca and Stephen Schwartz, who are famously the two gentlemen who submitted a brief written by ChatGPT that had made up cases in the New York case and got sanctioned for it. But we still read about it. We read about it with parties in lawsuits and even the judges themselves. So we're not getting the message out there, I think, that these tools are a probabilistic determination of the likely thing you wanted to get back when you put in a prompt, but they're not perfectly accurate. They're not, and even summarization. Again, I challenge folks to go ask your own bot. If I gave you a 100-page document that's in the context of a specific field, let's say engineering or construction, and I ask you for a case relevant summary, how accurate is it going to be? Just try that. Put that into your bot and see how it says. And I think people are just taking the answer. I just jumped ahead. Is it's going to be okay from a 10,000 foot level, and it's going to miss nuance and some specific relevance of terms that are unique to the art of construction or engineering or whatever. So if you're just looking for a gross summary, fine. If you think it's reliable for you as a mediator or a party to really say, oh, now I understand what the position will be, careful, because you're not going to get the nuance and the flavor you want. I also worry a little bit about some of the tools that are coming out to try and replace the mediator. There's a product I won't mention, but I was talking to the founder, and I asked her, so for instance, how do you deal with a party just being just lying? Or, to put it more politely, the exaggeration of a counsel. My client's broken arm is worth $1 billion, right? And does the bot just take everything at face value and then anchor discussions or process, that one party is entitled to $1 billion and the other party is not? And, the confession was, we don't know how to handle that yet. There are things like that, or, are bots really ready to say, I think we need to take a break and let's go have lunch? I mean, it's hard to picture that at this point. So I just think there are gaps still that maybe they're filled eventually, but I think it's going to be a while before the tools are, as fully reliable as a well-trained, experienced professional.
Gary, I love that example about the $1 billion broken arm. And for the academics and those who have studied different styles of mediation out there, it makes me think of, is the bot a transformative mediator, a facilitative mediator, inclusive mediator, evaluative? What is the bot? Or
right.
Maybe, those distinctions don't really exist. But what role is the bot playing? Last month, we had on two students here at OSU, and we asked them about their fears and hopes for AI. For their legal careers. Do you have advice for students out there, new lawyers out there, new mediators out there about how they should be engaging with AI in their respective practices?
Yeah, but I don't think that people in the profession of dispute resolution, particularly mediation, are likely to lose their job to a mediator bot, but they're going to lose their job to some other professional who knows how to use the AI bot effectively. So I think if you don't get on board the train and learn what the tools can do for you, then you may be in some peril going forward. But over reliance and the notion that they're actually going to extract the human from the process and the loop in most cases, I don't think I would worry too much about for the next generation. Maybe 2 generations from now, I might say yes. But this is just going to be one of those where, like today, I think, and we see examples of this. The bot can settle some cases; it can without any help, but there tend to be small dollar claims, high volume. So there's lots of data built up about what settlements have been reached and relatively simplistic. So they're replacing, I think, today's customer service agent in retail, but I don't think they're replacing, a complex divorce or any kind of case where there's a heavy emotional component. I mean, I can imagine that linguistically, because that's all the bot is really playing in, right? It can begin to recognize someday the kinds of conversation or tone to conversation where an apology may be an important ingredient. Now, it's just connecting those dots without understanding the emotional component of an apology, right? It's connecting the linguistic patterns of what somebody is saying who is searching for an apology from someone else, and it can maybe connect those dots. But it's going to be a long time before a bot understands both what it would mean to apologize or when to use it and what asking for it from the other party might cause, right? In terms of an adverse response or maybe a simple response. So though these are emotional levels of the AI that are just going to be. I won't say that it'll never happen. And the chief technology officer at ADR Notable and I have had some great debates about this. His argument is, well, if you feed it the right input data, it will recognize those opportunities and things like that. It will know when to say, let's go have lunch. But I'm not entirely persuaded that's on the immediate horizon.
Well, thank you so much for talking with us. Really interesting conversation, lots to think about. And hopefully for our readers and listeners, things for them to consider as well and to give it a try and see the ways that they might be able to use AI in their own mediation practice. So thank you so much, Gary.
Thanks for inviting me. It was great to see you both again.